Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss.
Oh, hell no. Hi guys, it's Yanni here and I'm back with another video. Today's video, I wanted to talk about K.Michelle. K.Michelle, why are you acting so bitter? K.Michelle, girl. I watched the interview that K.Michelle did with Derrick Jaxn. Let's go ahead and check out what she had to say during her interview with Derrick Jaxn and also hear Derrick Jaxn's response, and then I'll be back for the remainder of my commentary.
Everything that I've gone through has been because of lack of self-esteem and men being in the middle.
What do you mean? Like, explain that. Like,
I don't think men are good people.
Wait, you think that now? All men?
I don't think they're good people.
I don't believe that, man. I think that's a generalized statement.
what you think?
You think all them bad except you?
Not even that. I think just based on what you said, I think your experiences are valid, and I think the things that she was talking about are extremely valid, but in the way that you've internalized it is toxic.
Very.
It's like, yeah, there are kids in Chicago that are committing crimes, but hypothetically, let's say you have a son or a daughter. That doesn't mean that your son or daughter is a bad person because kids over there are doing wrong, even though those things are actually happening. So I think that's a generalized statement to say all men are bad. I think all men can be better the same way that women can. We could speak to the things that we're doing wrong in terms of holding us accountable. But whenever you say all men are bad, you're almost giving them a pass to continue being bad. And that I'm not for. Because let's say a good man does come along. Is that mentality going to attract him and make him want to stay around?
Well, who cares what attracts him? That's not what it's about for me in my life. I pay my own bills right now.
Well, you're going to continue.
So when you pay your own bills, you're going to think about love differently. So if a man is not willing to show and prove who he is, he's not for me. I'll put up this wall, and if you're not going to climb it, then you need to stay on the other side of it. I'm going to speak and say how I feel. This submission stuff with Fantasia, I'm not submitting to nothing but my bag and my kids and my career. I will submit. There is no submission without a mission. There has to be a mission. These men don't have missions.
You have absolutely no obligation to submit or do anything, but you would be wise to be consistent in what it is that you want. Do you really want a healthy relationship with a man that is good?
Okay.
If that's the case, then you have to create a welcoming space for that. And what you're talking about is not welcoming.
I've been in a relationship for now 3 years. I knew him for 20. Right?
I feel for this brother on this other side of this microphone.
Why not feel for me?
If you want a relationship, does that attitude create the space in order to accept the good man when he comes along?
It might scare him, but he needs to be scared.
Women do have a lot of power in those decisions.
Okay.
I think ultimately it's terrible to hear you talk about how you know these feelings are toxic and you don't think nothing could be done about it. But every day we know what the facts are. We know that men have issues, women have issues, but I think a lot of women have the power, what they deal with and what they tolerate, and I think that can help men be better at the same time.
Sometimes y'all just make bad choices and then y'all try to blame it on all men. I'm a married man, happily married. I've been in the game, watching the game forever. It's like watching K.Michelle. We see you make bad mistakes. We like, why you do that? Then you come on the show and be like, oh man, we like, yo, you just making bad decisions. Just call it what it is. It's a lot of men out here doing the right thing, but women don't want to say, hey, they're doing what they want to do instead of what they need to do at that time.
You don't need no cookie because you married. You don't get a cookie.
They never look at the dude that's the good dude because that's not what they want at the time. But what the good dudes stand on the side like, why don't you want me? Then they get bad and get abused by these dudes out here in the street. Then they come back to the other dude and be like, yo, I've been abused. Just like Kay said, I've been knowing this dude for 20 years. It just took you 20 years to get back to that dude. If you went out there and played around and did what you wanted to do, he been there the whole time.
That bitterness is just not working. Like, it's not a good look. Now, I want to speak from my experience with being bitter. I think as women, we've all gone through a period in our life where we've been bitter. It doesn't necessarily have to amount or correlate to men. It could definitely correlate with other things in our life, like maybe our life not turning out how we envision it to be, or it could be just things not going our way or things that are out of our control. So we become bitter because of it. It doesn't always have to lead back to man issues. With that being said, let's talk about K.Michelle and her mindset and why she is so bitter. K.Michelle is a disappointment to women because she's making us look bad, because women who have gone through things like trauma, horrible experiences with men, just horrible experiences that we have went through life. She's making us look bad because K.Michelle has the resources, she has the funds to go get help and get therapy and to find healing, but she chooses not to. She chooses to walk around with that bitter mindset. And that's the thing that bothers me the most. It's not that she feels the way that she feels, because she deserves to feel that way. She has gone through things in her life that has made her feel that way. But when you choose not to improve yourself by leveling up, glowing up, by healing, by going to therapy, by maybe meditating, maybe exercising, doing something that betters yourself, it's a choice. That's the issue that I have. It's not that she's bitter and that she feels the way that she feels. It's the fact that she refuses to get the help that she needs to overcome this bitter mindset. And one thing that I learned from being bitter, I was bitter for so many different reasons. Because I grew up shapely, I felt like men only wanted me for sex. So I was really bitter because of it. You know, I felt like men never wanted to take me serious. And so I had a very bitter mentality, very bitter attitude. Another issue that caused me to be bitter was the fact that I had daddy issues. And that whole issue made me bitter. And then my family, I felt like they weren't very supportive of me when I was in college. And I felt like they kind of neglected me my freshman year, and they kind of just dropped me off at school. And I was basically defending for myself from there on out. They just left me there and they weren't supportive, and it caused me to be bitter. So now that I'm 27, I have let all of that go. I have found peace. I'm finding healing. I'm going to therapy, and I am choosing to better myself through the resources that are available to me. And I would love for K.Michelle to do the same thing. You know, you see women out here getting plastic surgery. You see women out here going to MAC, going to Sephora, going to Ulta, doing all of these beauty treatments, but none of them seem to heal their inner issues or their inner trauma or their childhood trauma or any of the things that maybe they experienced or witnessed that caused them to be bitter. But they like to go on radio shows like K.Michelle and talk about how men are this and men are that. And like I said on my Instagram story, there's no leveling up, there's no glow up, or maybe I said this in a recent video, but there's no leveling up, there's no glowing up if you as a woman cannot take accountability for some of the things in your life. I'm not saying that you can prevent everything. I'm not saying that some things are preventable when it comes to men, but you have to understand that you can't blame literally everything on men. And K.Michelle is one of those women. And when I look at K.Michelle, she has the resources, she has the funds, she has everything at her feet, but because she has this bitter mindset, she's never gonna go far with that, because you're gonna keep attracting those shitty habits that you encountered from other people back into your life because you refuse to heal. You refuse to get help. You refuse to get counseling. You refuse to do better through your actions. You refuse to level up. You refuse to glow up. And you know, it's hard watching a woman like that because she's so successful. Like, she's a successful Black woman. I would consider K.Michelle to be very, very successful, highly intelligent, educated, all of those things. But that bitter mindset is not going to get her anywhere. It's not going to get her far. And when you have a bitter mindset, you're never going to be authentically happy. You want authentic happiness. Authentic happiness is when you are living in bliss. And living in bliss doesn't mean that you're not going through, you know, different things that life tries to throw at you. like for example, death, or you happen to go through the grieving process of death, and you just experiencing things that just happen that maybe were not planned or maybe were out of your control. And a person recently said this to me. He said, focus on the things that you can control and focus less on the things that you cannot control. Because when you put all your focus on the things that you can't control, you're missing out on the things that you can control. It was like a dimension that was closed off, but then when he said those words to me, when he said that to me, it was like a dimension was open, and I started to realize all the things that I could control, and I started focusing less on the things that I could not control. And it made me realize a lot of things about myself, and it made me learn more about myself. Just like that, with someone saying something so simple: focus on the things that you can control, let go of the things that you can't control, because again, they're out of your control. If you put too much focus on the things that you cannot control, you're missing out on the things that you can control. That is what K.Michelle is doing. She is focusing so much on the things that she cannot control that she's missing out on the things that she can control. She can control the men that she allows to pursue her, to approach her, to entertain her, but that's too much like right. Now, of course, there are going to be men that slip through the cracks, you know, and they put on this front that they are a type of way, or they have this facade about them that's fake. But you have to understand that at the end of the day, if K.Michelle had the mindset and she wasn't focused on being bitter, and she just had the mindset of focusing on the things that she could control and heal, I think she would be happy. I think she would be in a relationship. She could possibly be married. So these are things that, as I'm growing in life, maturing as a woman, and going through like this whole transition, because I've been on YouTube for 7 years and I have gone through a total transformation. People like to focus on my physical appearance, but my mind reprogramming and just thinking differently and taking on life differently and learning how to deal with things that I've experienced or things that I have gone through, and learning how to heal, and also rescuing myself, not waiting on a man to rescue me. That was the biggest thing that I learned through these 7 years. I saved myself. I rescued myself, because at the end of the day, it was my life. No one can save me. I have to save myself. So if you're one of those women where you're waiting for someone to save you, they're never gonna come. You have to save yourself. And that is the biggest lesson that I have learned over the course of 7 years through my growth. You have to save yourself. Another thing that I wanted to touch on, I don't like blaming men for everything, but I can't help the fact that I've encountered some really bad eggs, and I've encountered more bad eggs than good eggs, and that is just the reality. But I don't allow that to taint my outlook on men. I don't want to be lesbian, you know. I don't want to take on a woman because of the tainted experiences that I've had. But I will say this: I've had more bad egg experiences than good egg experiences. Sometimes I come across very defensive, and sometimes I come across, you know, on edge, because if I see something, it's triggering and I'm like, oh my God, I've gone through this before and I'm trying to prevent it. It's not because I don't want to give you a chance or that I don't want to be positive. It's just I'm scared, you know, like I'm fearful. I'm fearful of going through that experience again because I know what it did to me. And that can come across bitter, you know, that can come across like you're bitter. So it's something that I'm working on, trying not to be so defensive, trying to take on that person, whether it's a man or a woman, really, for their character, and not try to determine whether or not they are this type of person before they actually show me what type of person they are. That's what I'm learning, you guys. So with this whole K.Michelle situation, she's bitter, and you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be, I don't know how old K.Michelle, she's like, what, 30? And be bitter like that. And to have men come in and out of your life constantly. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be in your 30s where men are coming in and out of your life. You're bitter, you're not happy, and you're just not in a good place. K.Michelle needs to do a lot of healing within herself. She is clearly altering herself. Her skin, her face, she's not healthy. And healthy doesn't necessarily mean physically. It could be mentally. Like something is not right, you know? And I don't know if it's therapy that she needs, an intervention, I don't know, but she just needs help. And if you feel like you're mirroring her behavior or her mentality, you need help, and it's okay. I need help. I'm getting help. I'm going to therapy. I'm putting in the work to better myself and to be in a healthier space. And it's okay to say that you need help. It's okay to get help. So that's all that I have regarding this video, you guys. Comment your thoughts down below. I would love to read them. And also, if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. I'm here in LA currently, so I'm gonna be working and grinding the whole time that I'm here. But I really want to take this time in LA to recharge, but also get some new and different content out here for you guys. So yeah, please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so that you're notified for when I upload, and I'll catch you in my next one.